Today we're digging into a pretty wild story from the world of fast food. It's about a beloved dessert that suddenly disappeared, sparking a whole lot of panic and outrage. And honestly, it's a masterclass in how a clever marketing trick can go very, very wrong.
Okay, just imagine for a second, your favorite food, that one go-to comfort snack you always count on, what if it just vanished? No warning, just gone. Well, that's the exact panic that gripped thousands of people when this next announcement dropped.
So on January 15th, 2026, KFC Taiwan just drops this bombshell on social media. The classic egg tart, their absolute icon, a fan favorite for 28 years, was being discontinued. And the internet, as you can probably guess, completely lost its mind.
The reaction was immediate. It was intense. But, as the initial shock started to wear off, people began to feel like something wasn't quite adding up. And sure enough, the very next day, the company revealed the whole story. And here is the big twist. The egg tart wasn't gone at all. It was just upgraded. The classic was replaced by the Super Crispy, which, surprise, came with a slightly higher price tag. So all that panic wasn't about a tragedy, it was all a setup for a sneaky price hike.
Now what's really fascinating here is that for a lot of customers, this whole thing felt strangely familiar. It turns out this wasn't the first time KFC had played this exact game with their most popular product.
I mean, just take a look at this timeline. Back in May of 2022, they said they were drawing a clear line with the egg tart. That caused a huge frenzy of panic buying. And what was the big reveal? Oh, just the launch of a new dessert sub-brand. So fast forward to early 2026, and it's the exact same playbook. Announce the end, then reveal and upgrade. You can't make this stuff up.
So why on earth would they do it again? Well, because the first time, it worked brilliantly. That 2022 announcement led to a massive threefold increase in daily egg tart sales. With numbers like that, you can kind of see why the marketing team would think, hey, let's run that back.
This all leads us to the marketing strategy behind the stunt. And this tactic, it actually has a name. It's a classic example of something called shock advertising.
Shockvertising is pretty much what it sounds like. It's all about manufacturing a crisis to get attention. You create this fear of loss. Your favorite thing is disappearing forever. And then you solve that fear with a big, surprising reversal, like a new product or a new brand. It's designed to cut through the noise.
But here's where the whole thing gets really weird. Just 10 days before KFC pulled this stunt, their own sister company, Pizza Hut, tried something almost identical. They posted a farewell message for a store, only to reveal they were just getting a new sign. And people hated it. They called it a lame trick. So why would KFC repeat a tactic that had just failed so publicly?
So this is the crucial point, right? This strategy is a massive gamble. The potential rewards are huge, yeah, but the risks to your brand's reputation, they're even bigger. It is a classic double-edged sword.
Okay, let's break it down. On one side, the advantages are really tempting. You get a ton of attention, you could go viral, and you get a nice short-term sales boost. But on the other side, the disadvantages can be absolutely catastrophic. We're talking serious brand damage, customers just getting tired of your games, and a deep, deep loss of trust. It starts to feel less like clever marketing and more like, well, emotional blackmail.
And look, we can talk about the theory all day long, but the real damage becomes crystal clear when you look at what actual customers were saying online. Because this time around, they weren't playing along. They were just angry.
This one comment just captures the mood perfectly. This lame trick has been used so much I'm rolling my eyes. It perfectly illustrates that public fatigue. The novelty was completely gone. All that was left was just annoyance.
But the criticism actually went a lot deeper than just being annoyed. This person pointed out a really powerful angle. Great for the executives, terrible for the frontline employees. People realized this whole stunt created total chaos for the actual workers in the stores, the ones who had to deal with confused, angry customers face to face.
So what was the real plan here? Well, analysts at the time basically saw three possible scenarios. One, and the most likely, was that this was all just a clever way to introduce a price hike. Two, it could have been another attempt to spin the egg tart off into its own brand. Or three, the real long shot, that they were actually getting rid of their most famous product. As we know now, it was definitely scenario number one.
And that brings us to the final and I think most important takeaway from this whole episode. What is the real cost when a brand decides to play these kinds of games with its customers' trust?
The lesson here is so powerful and so simple. A brand's trust is a consumable resource. It's not infinite. Think about it like a bank account. You can make withdrawals with stunts like this, but if you keep taking and taking without making any deposits of goodwill, you're eventually going to go bankrupt.
When you cry wolf too many times, your customers build up a defense mechanism. Every single one of your future announcements is going to be met with skepticism. That relationship gets damaged, and in the long run, you don't just lose a sale, you lose the trust that your brand may have spent decades building.
So it leaves us with a final question to think about. In a world that is just saturated with advertising, we all get the need to grab attention. But where do we draw that line between being clever and being manipulative? And as customers, how many lame tricks are we really willing to forgive?